Or more than that.
Good morning. Welcome all. This is a nice group. We're growing, at least in participation. So Kelly's going to start with our invocation. Can we come up here? Sure. Here.
Let's bow our heads, please. Father, we bow our heads and ask for a brief pause in the busyness of life, and ask that you meet each of us in a way that we can know you better. Father, we come to you, each of us, with our own problems and our own joys. And we ask that you come into put our lives on display, and we ask that you guide us to work towards that place of wholeness and a place that is a witness to our belief that you are a God of love and forgiveness. Hear our collective prayers for your guidance and understanding as we live in a world that so desperately needs your love. Please help each of us to use our individual gifts to lift up those around us, and to use Rotary to be a conduit for creating goodness in the world. We ask for your grace in our lives and a spirit of thankfulness as we journey along this life that you have given us. For all things that are of truth and of love, we give thanks. Amen. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Of the things we think, do, and say, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, Kelly. Well done. Kim's going to give our Sergeant at Arms report.
Okay, today we have 23 members with us today, and our guests will be introduced momentarily. And it looks like we have 16 on the screen.
13.
13 on the screen today, so great.
So what's that, 36?
Yeah.
Great job. Thank you. So we very timely that we have our speaker today. We had a Satellite Sunset Club had a service project out of the guard last weekend. We had very good participation. Christy, maybe you can tell us how many Rotarians were there, do you know?
I think there were probably about 40 different people from Dave's Rotary and Satellite.
Yeah, so I know Steve was there. I know Walt was there. Were there any other people from the regular club that were there? I was there. So we had a good day. We did a lot of good stuff. Very fulfilling. I know we'll hear more about that, but I can say from a personal standpoint, it really warms your heart to give people in need stuff that would otherwise have been thrown away. So it's a really worthy cause. And Christy, I can say my wife was very enamored with the organization. So
Thank you. She's coming to meet me on Monday.
she's coming to volunteer again. So that's awesome. Rick, you want to do our birthdays and anniversaries?
Sure, glad to. Good morning, Cape City. Happy birthday to you. Well, you got a birthday, not just stand by. We do have a couple birthdays. Oh, we got a few birthdays this week, and we have some anniversaries as well. Let's see, Mike Anderson, I don't think he's with us. Mike on the screen up there?
Yes.
Yeah, and Mike's anniversary on the 21st. Is he here with us?
Here.
Yeah, there he is. Hey, Mike, how many years do you have?
Gosh, I don't know, 20 something, maybe 25.
And you did the big 2-0. So let's give him a hand. 20 years. And I've got one more that's going to outdo you, Mike, by just a few here. Mr. Harrell, you have an anniversary, 22nd. How many? I don't know. It's one of those even kind of numbers. Take a guess. It's not 30. It's not 20. 24. 25.
25.
That's close enough.
Trick question. That's a odd number.
Do I get a watch? Yes. See, guy has a watch for you. much for your service. That's a number of years continuous service to this club, and we're all great. Have a couple of birthdays for you. We have a couple of birthdays today. First, Eric Durham is Eric. Are you online up here? Nope. Can't see all of this. Okay, Eric had a birthday on the 18th. We're gonna do 2 weeks ago. Somebody missed last week, and I wasn't gonna say they just screwed up, but you know, then anyway, we'll do that. 2 weeks this week. All right, Eric, you say you tell him happy birthday on the 18th. Mark Reynolds. Mark with us? Nope. Okay. Mark had a birthday on the 19th, and Justin Plummer. Is Justin with us? Nope. Oh, man.
We're having a birthday party.
Yeah, we both call this group called Fish, and they got this little birthday song. I was gonna sing with Justin, so, boy, lucky for you guys, you missed out on that. And, Auburn, did I see you from here today?
Nope.
No, I did not. All right, is she online with us? Nope. Auburn's got one coming up on the police 7th there, so if you see her later, say hi. 2 wedding anniversaries, Kim Tyler, and she and Scott had an anniversary on the 17th, 31 years. And Keller, is Ross with us? No. All right. Well, Ross and Melanie have a wedding anniversary coming up. They're 18th on the 28th. And that, Mr. President, is our report for today.
Thank you, Rich. So we are, this is our 30th anniversary, so I'm sure at some point Rick's gonna have a big announcement for all of you.
Yeah.
30th.
And I know, that'll be in May, and we have.
Yeah, that'll probably be in May.
Yeah, we have 9, I think, that are, Robbie, do you know we have 9 founding members still in the club?
I think that sounds about right. I'll double check the numbers, but certainly by May, but the charter members that are still active with the club, some of whom have even rejoined, we started out right around 30 and just over 30 and have grown from there. But about a third of us have stayed with the club from day one.
So hopefully by the changing of the guard, everything's kind of come back to normal. I do plan to do something to recognize those founding members. So that changing of the guard. So I'll send out an email, letting everybody know to make sure they attend, and we're gonna kind of recognize those people that have kind of built this club the whole way through. So, all right, next we're gonna talk about our fundraiser. Our fundraiser is 37 days away. So Tom, you have some announcements?
All right, well, last week I got 10 pets, so that's president-elect training, so I'm really starting to feel it, and our club's really well known in Rotary. We broke out in sessions, talked a lot about all the stuff Cape City does, so we're gonna have a fundraiser. Kelly's helping me with it. Right now, it's open just to club members, and I'm gonna send out some information probably tonight about it. So some of you have already told me you're gonna sponsor, and that's fine, and just send me a note. But we'll have lots of raffle prizes, lots of fun, it's gonna be a good event. So we're getting some raffle tickets coming up probably next week. Have those to sell, but we got the blitzes in April, it's gonna be short notice, but things are opening up quickly, so. And if it opens up even more, we'll figure out places to go.
So one of the things that Tom has shown me is the sponsorships are going to include less attendance tickets because we have limits on how many people can attend. I personally believe that we will be able to get sponsors from outside of our club. People are wanting to give, people are wanting to go, even if they only get a few tickets, they'll want to come and participate. Grandover is a beautiful location. So when Tom sends that out, y'all forward it to all the people you know, all the company owners, and I believe we can get some sponsors to help fund Lisa's year. So we're gonna have to really work. We've only got 5 weeks. And if we
All
want
the
to,
sponsorships are in even amount.
right. So if we want to get this done, if we want to get this done, it's going to take a lot of effort, but this group can do it. I firmly believe that. So, Matthew, do you have any announcements about our next service project yet?
I'm getting nowhere with anybody, so no.
Okay, so that we're hoping to do another couple service projects before the end of the Rotary year, which is the end of June, and we're hoping to do Camp Carefree and Victory Junction in the late spring, right? Okay. Do we have a guest?
We do. David Crandall is visiting with us today. It's the first time we've ever received an email that I'm aware of through the website inquiring about membership in the club. So you were the first, and I hope the first of many, but David's off a corporate job, looking old Rotarian, looking to get back involved and looking for a breakfast club. So he's here to check us out this week.
Be careful you throw that old stuff out.
I'm trying to use the word wise. It's a wise Rotarian.
So I can't see, you may not know, Chris, but we have had people join through that. I think Erica Parker joined that way years ago. So, yeah.
That's how I did it 25 years.
Yeah, so it works. We get great members through that method. So, next, I'm going to call on Gigi to talk about our district conference. District conference is 2 weeks away. So,
yes, thank you, Guy. First of all, thanks to all of you who have registered for the district conference. Again, it's going to be April 16 to the 18th at the World Park Inn. We have some fantastic activities planned. I will be sending an email to the members who have registered with the list of the activities. So let me go very quickly. For those who plan to get there the Thursday before, we have on Thursday afternoon, we have an Asheville food tour at the street tour of different restaurants. It starts at 2 o'clock from 2 to 5:45. And that is $58 per person. We already have 6 members registered. So again, if you're interested, just let me know. That's Thursday afternoon. Friday evening, we have a tradition on Friday evening that we have dinner with members of our club. So we have a planned dinner at the Rendezvous restaurant, that is the French restaurant, rather new in Asheville. So that should be a lot of fun. That is 7:30 on Friday evening. Then on Saturday afternoon, and I'm choosing the afternoon because we do have district conference activities in the morning. So on Saturday afternoon, we have a free afternoon on Saturday. There is a choice of district conference activities. There is a waterfall hike, there is a brewery tour, and a couple of others. You can register for those at the registration link that you've received from Tommy. If you want, however, if you want something different, you can join other members and myself. We have, again, Eating Asheville walking tour on Saturday afternoon from 2 to 4. It's two of the best restaurants in Asheville. We also have a self-guided afternoon tour of the art district for those of you who are more art inclined. And also for the gardeners in the group, we have a self-guided afternoon visit to Biltmore Garden, and the gardens are in bloom mid-April, so it's a beautiful time to visit them. So I will send all these choices to the group. Just email me back, let me know which one you're interested in, and I will take care of it. And I also want to recognize those members who have registered. So we have Guy and his wife, I believe. We have Lisa Simpson, we have Mike Conrad and his wife, Gail Stencil, Frank Tierney, Walt Howard, Chip Person, and myself. So it should be a fun group. So join us, and if you have not made up your mind yet as to whether or not, or if you have not checked your calendar, please join us. I think it's beautiful this time of year. As you know, we have all kinds of activities, and we are planning to do a lot of fellowship with all the other Rotarians and have fun. Thank you, guys.
So, what's better than bringing a French lady to a French restaurant? She can order for us in French. So anyway, we're gonna have a good group. It should be fun. It should the Grove Park's a beautiful place. I don't think they have any rooms left in the Grove Park, but people can still register for the conference and stay in one of the outlying hotels around it and attend the conference. So if you do, let Gigi know, and then, like I said, it should be a good time. Beautiful, beautiful to be in Asheville in the spring. So That's all we have for club announcements. Bobby, you want to do our happy dollars?
Happy dollars.
Rick?
Yes, sir. Old people in Rotary, we know that Rotary is for old men and their fathers. Yes, sir. Yeah, but that's those other Rotary. That's other, yeah. James, what you got?
My daughter Lindsay, my second oldest daughter, 3 years ago, she moved, her and husband moved to Denver, and, yesterday, she moved back to North Carolina, so they closed on a house at Beach Mountain, so, the ironic thing is COVID's made all this possible, because, she's still gonna be working for the same company that she worked for in Denver, but she's gonna be living in North Carolina. It's good, one of the Denver connection was back on.
These dollars, man, you just pulled this thing out, and man, Bobby's like,
I saw
I mean, all the dust coming off of that.
There you
Yeah, you're right about that. Just happy to be here, happy we're all gathering, happy for these good folks here at the Elks Club, been doing such a good job for us. And, just happy to be alive as an old man on Thursday, you know, I guess, especially, Tim being an old man.
This is the oldest I've ever been to.
Is it really? You know what?
Jim Kennedy, it's good to see you. Good to see everybody. Lieutenant Man with the Sam Hummel suit. I feel like Sam today. This is really for Walt and Guy. Being club president is supposed to be, kind of fun. I don't see that there's been a lot in the last year or so. So I propose that each of you guys get a do-over and we ask everybody to back up a year.
That's the least we can do.
Yeah.
Appreciate the sentiment.
But Dan, it looks more like you're channeling Colonel Sanders there.
My wife said I can sell chicken this morning.
Nobody wants any today. I could volunteer with the Sunset Club last Saturday, so I am volunteering it out of the garden on Friday afternoon. So I just wanted to give a shout out, and I always enjoy myself whenever I get the opportunity to go.
Five happy dollars. One big part of the Out of the Garden project this past weekend was a lot of fun. What a great group of people were there, sort of a cross section of the community, and everybody worked their tails off. It was a lot of fun. And then just a gratitude. I've got gratitude to see so many more of you here, and not too many of you hung up on me when I was calling this past week. So great to see you.
Two happy dollars today. First of all, just happy to meet all of you guys in person. It's just a fantastic feeling. Restrictions are going to be eased on Friday, so we are getting closer to everything back to normal. So I'm excited about that. And my second happy dollar is to encourage all of you to come down this afternoon to Lo-Fi Park downtown. This is the grand reopening of Lo-Fi Park, which is one of the cornerstones of the Greenway. I am a great supporter of the Greenway. I'll be there. There's a lot of fun activity, a beautiful day. So come and join us and support downtown Greensboro.
What kind of wine are they serving?
Well, I don't know yet. This is wine.
Yeah, oh, I got one. I got to thank, first off, Guy and Lisa, no, she's not here. That's fine, my name, for finding us this place and the folks who are here. They haven't come out. I'll see if I can come back. But they're doing a great job, I think. It's not quite David Henry, but man, they welcome us, and that's a big part of the deal. And then I got to just say, I'm sorry that I wasn't at the Out of the Garden project. I was out of town, unfortunately, but I put in a few hours out there. I hear the cabbages were just absolutely that's what I understand, even though it's
Yes.
And lastly, I must say, Bobby's got on his flip flops, right? Nice flip flops.
Good stuff. Every time of year. Summer's here.
Yeah, it only gets better. More. Well, Grandpappy, he's well into his 90s. He's had to go to a lot of funerals lately, and it's just a whole, cycle of life that he's contemplated the other day of his ultimate existence here on earth.
knowing that he's not gonna live forever. And he said, you know, when you die, you probably don't really know it. It's probably just hard for all the people around you. He said, you know, it's the same as like when you're stupid.
Okay, well, good morning, everybody. It is really, really great to be back with you all in person. Thanks to everybody that came out on Saturday to have our project. I have the great honor this morning of introducing our speaker. Her name is Shelley Olds. We are delighted that Shelley has joined our team at Out of the Garden Project as our Director of Development. Shelley has worked for many years at Syngenta and has recently left there and spent a little bit of time doing some various things. She's on several different boards, but she has just come on board with us in this most incredible way. Whenever we hire people to work with us, we always hope and we ask that they have the same heart that we do, that working with folks in our community is kind of their hard mission, and we hope that kind of conveys to the community. But Shelley has come on with us, and we have been so amazed at how she has thrown herself into this work. One thing I will say is that Shelley has two sons, one that I have had the pleasure of getting to know several years ago when he was a junior and senior in high school. And he would come out to the warehouse on Wednesday nights when I have a lot of high school kids. And David is just a remarkable young man. He's in college now, but we grew to love him as much as we love Shelley. It is just a delight for me to be able to introduce her this morning. So please give a warm welcome to Shelley Olds. Good morning, everybody. It is just so good to be here. And hello to everybody on the Zoom. You guys do this hybrid thing really well. So I am excited to be here, and I want to tell you a bit about my why before I get into Out of the Garden Project. Christy mentioned that I was with Syngenta, and I was for about 20 years. And we talked a lot about agriculture. I mean, I can talk about production agriculture. I can talk about farming. I can talk about GMOs. We can have that conversation. But I tell you, the thing about Out of the Garden Project is when it comes to food and food insecurity, Out of the Garden Project is a place that makes a difference and makes an impact. And that's what touched me. I can remember talking to Christy about 10 years ago, and we were involved at Syngenta. I was community engagement lead, and I worked with a lot of different nonprofits throughout the area. Christy and I were talking, and she was talking about how Out of the Garden got started, and she said, you know, I realized when my girls were in elementary school that there were some kids in their classrooms that didn't have food over the weekend. And she said, when you pick your kids up from school, look at those kids that were, you know, standing in line in the car pickup line. So many of those kids don't have food over the weekend. So that evening, you know, I thought about that. That next day, I had to go to Southwest Middle School to pick up David. And I pull up in the line, and I see all these middle schoolers out in front of Southwest Middle School. And what Christy said stuck in my mind. How many of these kids don't have food this weekend? And here we've got an organization that enables families and children to have food. I mean, what a blessing is that to those families and our community. So that is my why. And when I was out at Southwest Elementary last week delivering Out of the Garden Operation Backpacks to that school, happened to be there about 2:30, and the cars were all lined up for pickup, and it hit me again. How many kids don't have food over the weekend. So that's what we're doing at Out of the Garden Project, and that is my why. So, okay, what we're going to talk about today. Oh, there we go. There we go. What we're going to talk about today is just a bit about Out of the Garden Project, who we are, what our mission is. I'm about 2 months in, so I've got some statistics in my head, but I don't have them in my head nearly as good as Christy or Don. So Don's on the Zoom, and he can help me with certain statistics and that kind of thing, but I've got a lot of them. I want to talk a little bit about 2020 and the impact that we had and the difference that we made in the community. I want to talk about 2021 this year and how we are sustaining the momentum that started in 2020. And we've got some exciting new programs on the horizon, so I'll touch on that. And then just additional ways that you can engage. So many of you have been out and volunteered, and we appreciate that. And so, David, that next slide leads me to say thank you. Thank you so much to Gate City Rotary for what you've done, for coming out, for seeing the warehouse, for being in line at our fresh mobile markets. Thank you for that. Thank you for your financial contributions to the organization. And we'll get into a little bit about our urban teaching farm. Rotary International gave us the seed money for our urban teaching farm, which enabled us to be there today. So we thank you for that. We couldn't do what we do without the support of your all's group, and we thank you so much for that. So I have up here, and I don't know that all of you can see, so I'll read it. Out of the Garden Project's mission is to nourish families with food, to grow, learn, and thrive. So Out of the Garden Project's mission is to nourish families with food, to grow, learn, and thrive. There's something about that that really hits with me. If you reflect on my story that I told, the sequence of that is very, very important, because you have to have food to grow. And you can't learn unless you're growing. And you can't learn unless you have food in your bellies in the morning. And you can't thrive unless you're learning and growing. So the sequence of that is so very important. And the fact that that's our mission means the world, because we want to nourish families with food to grow, learn, and thrive. And our vision is to connect people through partnership that feeds families, creates community, and builds healthier outcomes. That's what we're all doing here today. And again, that's what we thank you for in your efforts in building this community and enabling these partnerships. So thank you for that. So 2020, oh my gosh, it was crazy. It was different. We're all still, kind of working through it. I'm still working through it. I still forget my mask sometimes, a lot of times. But at Out of the Garden Project, we had an unbelievable year. We had an unbelievable year on many levels. First of all, the need was enormous. But second of all, one of the things that Out of the Garden Project did was they showed up. We showed up. We were there every single week. We were there with fresh mobile markets. We were there delivering hot meals, feeding people. We were there. We didn't go remote. We didn't change our processes. Well, we changed our processes, but we kept going and we showed up. And that was unbelievable. We delivered or distributed 6 million pounds of food in 2020, 6.2 million pounds of food in 2020. In 2019, we distributed 2. So we distributed 3 times more food in 2020 because the need was there and because we had the infrastructure and the processes to enable that. So when you think about other organizations delivering food out of the garden was there and stepped up and delivered 3 times more food. We held over 29 fresh mobile markets and served over 2,000 families each month. So our fresh mobile markets are spread throughout the Piedmont Triad. It is a mobile market where our clients drive to the location, they sit in their car, they sign in, they pull up, and 65 to 100 pounds of food are put in their car. It includes produce, it includes bread, it includes meat, it includes canned foods. It's a nutritious contribution of food to that family, 65 to 100 pounds, depending on how many people are in the family. 29 fresh mobile markets each month, 2,000 families. Unbelievable. We went from 19 to 29. I talked about process a minute ago. We all know that we had socially distanced. We were all socially distancing, and we had to retrofit our processes at Out of the Garden Project also. We couldn't have 100 people in the warehouse. Imagine that if you all have been out there. There were times we had 100 people in that warehouse working, putting that food together, moving that produce from here to there. We had to change that. And we did change that to enable social distancing. And even with that change, we enabled over 20,000 volunteer hours in 2020. I think that there were over 183 people that volunteered over 2 or 3 times during the year. So people coming time after time after time. We couldn't have had the impact of 6.2 million pounds of food into the communities without the 20,000 volunteer hours. And that's thanks to you. It's thanks to you and people like you being willing to get out, go to the warehouse, volunteer at a fresh mobile market, volunteering to put out Operation Backpack Bags. So we couldn't have done it without our wonderful volunteers and the foresight that Don and Christy had to retrofit the warehouse, the process, and what we were doing. And then finally, we couldn't have done any of what we did without the partnerships, the faith organizations. We grew 65%. Our impact was 65% more than it was in 2019. So without a doubt, 2020 was an amazing year for Out of the Garden Project. But how do you say that without acknowledging that 2020 was a weird and strange and different year for all of us? But I am so glad for our community and for those children that needed to have food, there was someone there like Out of the Garden Project to enable that. So let's talk about 2021. And one of the things that I wanted to do just quickly is go through the 6 different programs that we have that enables all of this. I'm going to touch on them quickly, and if you have questions, we can do a deep dive into it afterwards. But for this year, our goal is to sustain the momentum that we had in 2020, because that need is not going to go away. The other thing that we need to do is accommodate current and future needs in Guilford County and beyond. One of the things that we're doing in 2021 is we're looking to push out into Forsyth County because need is everywhere. And while we've been focused locally within Guilford County, we're looking to push out beyond our home because that need is there, and we think we can do it. And we'll do that through Operation Backpack. I mentioned that early in my presentation, and that is volunteers taking food bags that are packed. If you've been to the warehouse, you maybe have packed the white bags with food to schools in Guilford County County. We service about half of the Guilford County schools. On a Thursday or Friday afternoon, families in need will get a bag of food to feed for over the weekend. And we have a whole host of volunteers that come to the warehouse each Thursday, Friday, load their car with these backpacks, and then take them out to the community, drop them at the school. Those children take that food home to have with their families over the weekend. So we're feeding families over the weekend. Fresh mobile markets I talked about, we increased those from 19 a month to 29 a month. First month I was there, I stood in the fresh mobile market line. I was taking people's names. I was new in the job. I was a little bit nervous for the first, 5 minutes? And then I start talking to people. And I'm talking to the people sitting in their cars, and they're appreciative, and they're thankful, and they're telling me about their families, and they're talking about their children. And for 2.5 hours, I connected to the community in a way I've never connected to before. And as they exited that fresh mobile market, they had 65 to 100 pounds of food that they could use for the rest of the month. And they were able to fill the gap in their food budget and put that money towards something else, whether that be the electric bill, clothing for their children, or whatever. So fresh mobile markets. Urban Teaching Farm, thank you for your contribution to that. We have 3 acres in Warnersville where we plant produce, we grow produce, we teach people about farming and what it means to farm and why to farm, and get your hands in the dirt, and it feels good, and you're connected to the earth, and you see things grow, and you harvest tomatoes at the end of the year, and you feel proud. And we're teaching people about sustainability and what it means to be self-sufficient. So we have volunteer opportunities at the Urban Teaching Farm. If you're interested in joining us there, please do. We have some harvest boxes for sale that I'll talk about in a little bit, but just a wonderful, close to the earth type of place that also offers volunteers. Food Reclamation Initiative. This is something that I think is so neat, because when I was at Syngenta many years ago, and you all may remember this, you used to go into a meeting and you'd have bottles of water there, and you'd have M&Ms in a bowl, and you'd have lunch delivered, and you'd eat your turkey sandwich, and when you left the meeting, there'd be a tray of turkey sandwiches there. And I thought, what happens to this food? Why can't we do something with it? Well, at the time we couldn't, but now we can, which is what the Food Reclamation Initiative is. We visit 9 Paneras throughout the area every week. We get food from Trader Joe's, we get food from Food Lion. This is all of the stuff that normally would be thrown away. We are reclaiming that food. We have volunteers come in who work with that food, repackage that, and then that goes back into our fresh mobile market food offering. So that's the food reclamation. What that does is it gets rid of all of that waste that would normally be thrown away and gives it to people who really need it. Shared Use Kitchen. This is a great opportunity. We have 18 entrepreneurs that come that create their own product. It is a low-risk shared use kitchen. So individuals that create jams, pickles, that kind of food have the opportunity to go into a kitchen that is approved by the state, so they can package their food and sell it to the public. We enable the space. They pay us money for rental of that space, and those dollars go back into the project so that we can buy more food, so that we can feed more people. And then finally, our summer meals program. I mean, we've talked about a host of different things that we do as it comes to food distribution. Our summer meals program is our 6th program. And what we do is we partner with other organizations that have summer summer projects, summer camps for kids, and we help supply the food for those camps. Summer is a hard time for many families because school's not in session. They don't have access to the food. So with our fresh mobile markets and with the summer meals initiative, we enable children to have food all during the summer. So very proud of these 6 programs. I'll tell you, we've got more programs in mind. We've got a lot of thoughts, a lot of things going on. So please let me come back in a couple months and tell you about the new programs that we'll have in place. And I'll have maybe 9 or 10 different boxes on the slide, but lots going on and lots to come. Fun programs on the horizon. We've got all kinds, and I've mentioned different volunteer opportunities. We're thinking every day of new ways to volunteer, new ways to get people involved, especially if in this crazy time you don't want to be around people. We're thinking of virtual volunteer opportunities. And if you have something in mind that you think might be beneficial, let us know, because we are open to new ideas and ways that we can expand the organization. We're thinking of special donor and volunteer events, personalized fundraising campaigns. That's something that we're going to get into very soon. Organizational development and team building. One thing that we have at Out of the Garden Project now at our location is a fantastic office space. It's just great. It's a lot of room. We've got 2 big conference tables, and we thought, goodness, there's a lot of companies out there that may be interested in starting to get back together. Maybe there's a leadership group of 8 or 10 people that would like to sit socially distanced. Let's offer our space, have them come in, have their leadership team meeting, maybe for an afternoon, and then go into the warehouse space and volunteer together. That is a great team building opportunity. So we are offering that to the community, to organizations, if you're interested in volunteering or holding a meeting at our location. And then finally, of course, there are corporate and organization sponsorship opportunities. So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in connecting to what we're doing in a financial way or other ways, let us know, please, because we would love to talk to you. As I said, the need is there. We know how to fill that gap, and with your help, we can do it together. And then finally, last slide, ways that you can engage today. And you guys know this. I can already tell because hearing you talk. Thank you for those of you who have been out. If you haven't been out, please come. I promise you, you will walk away with your heart touched. You'll walk away feeling proud of what Out of the Garden Project does, feeling proud about what your Rotary team does, and feeling proud about what you do personally and individually. Volunteer your expertise. We're growing, we're getting bigger. We're facing challenges that we haven't faced before. If you have a particular expertise that you're looking to share, let us know. I guarantee you there's a place that we can put your ideas to work, and we'd love to hear from you. Spearhead an in-kind donation from your company, sponsor a program, or create something new. So I've told you about all these different programs that you can sponsor or support, but if you have a fun idea that relates to food or relates to children, let us know. We can create a new program. And then finally, buy a membership to our Harvest Box. What this is, it comes from our Urban Teaching Farm. It is a CSA-like box, fresh produce. I was going to plant a garden this summer, but when I joined in January, I thought, I don't have to plant a garden this summer. All I have to do is go out to the Urban Teaching Farm. Lily, our farm manager, is there. She's going to teach me how to do everything, and I purchased a Harvest Box, so I'm going to have fresh produce from the farm every other week to take home, build salads, grill vegetables, and all of that. So I would encourage you to do the same. It's a great way to get your veggies in and help a worthy cause. And then finally, I have to say, because Don Milholland says it all the time, and I love it, volunteer, donate, and repeat. So that's what we like for you to do. We are excited for you to join us, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for helping to feed children in Guilford County and enabling families to grow, learn, and thrive. So that's the end of my presentation. Questions? We're right at the top of the hour. Yes, sir.
I know a simple gesture contributes to your program. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, so Simple Gesture is a food assistance program. And, you know, actually we worked with a Simple Gesture at Syngenta. They fill bags of produce that comes in. Simple Gesture has grown quite a bit, and they're making a huge impact in the community, and we appreciate too the work that they do. They are now doing their own thing. We are really, really focused in on the fresh produce, the fresh bread, that kind of thing. So while we're both working towards food insecurity, we don't have that same connection that we had, say, in 2018 or 2019. They're growing, they're doing their thing, they're collecting the canned goods, the boxed goods, that type of thing. And we're appreciative of what they do towards food insecurity. But today, we're each doing our thing individually. So thanks to them for what they're doing.
How does Christy still have a red badge? How is this?
I know, Guy just mentioned that when I came in the door, and I was like, yeah, I'm not a good hoop jumper, so I still have things.
That's somebody else's fault.
Well, it's been a pandemic. So one more task before you're done. Thank you.
Okay.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
Obviously, you guys are passionate about this. So if everybody has their Queen of Hearts tickets.
The last three numbers, 778. 778.
Good job, Kim. Lots of tickets.
Hey, I'm only here a couple more weeks. We make like
It's win. The pot will grow. All right, everybody have a good week, and I'll hope to see all of you guys here.
Thanks, everybody.